Oh, hello. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Blimey, I'm choking. I'm still not 100% right, guys, so my voice does keep going. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We are on the Curious Bunny. That is my old Curious Bunny logo. So I need to get my new logo on, but until I get my new logo on, we're just going to go with my normal Penny Bunny avatar. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream 39 watching. Good to see you. So yeah, we do go further down rabbit holes on this channel. I've just to let you know, guys, I've just been making my Philip Schofield video. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, it'll be on the other channel probably first thing in the morning. So just because I know a few people are waiting for that. So let me just turn on slow mode, just a very slow mode. Just to also let you know, if you are a member on the other channel, excuse my voice is going, excuse me. Excuse me. If you're a member on the other channel, you won't be on here. You can only be a member on one channel. So unfortunately, I can't bring you over. I used to have memberships on this channel as well, but I turned them off because I thought it's not fair people paying twice. And I don't think that's fair. So I turned them off so that people can't become members. He's a bit better. He's just talking to his friend now on something. But we've all had something going on. Right then. So hello everybody. Let me just get into the live chat. Turn on slow mode. I have sent Jane, the lovely Jane. I've already done it apparently. So subscribers are on. So if you can't comment, you need to be a subscriber for 10 minutes. It's to stop the trolls coming in. They come in, they make a new account, and then they just troll. So now when the trolls come in, they have to go make a new account and wait 10 minutes. It pisses them off. So anything that annoys the trolls, I hope you can understand that. Right then, we've got National Memorial. My voice. Excuse me. National Memorial Gardens. Hello, welcome to the live stream. We've got some of the old faces coming in. So hello, everybody, and hello, new faces. We'll do our hellos. If you watch on the replay, please go forward 10 minutes. I appreciate that. We got sorry, I've just gone with Jemima. Hello, darling. We got Dave. Sorry, I'm missing all these people here. Dig Down Deep. Hello, sweetheart. How you doing? Funky 82. Hello, good to see you. Oh, thank you. My voice keeps going. We have Carlos the Pure Blood in the house. We have Diane. Hello, Diane. How you doing, love? We have Mickey the Monkey. Thank you, babe. My voice keeps going, you know. Obviously not right. Mickey the Monkey. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you very much. AI just bought me a cup of tea to help my voice. Carlos the Pure Blood in the house. Oi, oi, how you doing, mate? My previous comment might have been the wrong way round, I suspect. Right, I didn't see it, mate. So you're all right. You're okay. We have Cosmic War Toad. So no members, but you can still super chat on it if you want to. Totally up to you if you want to support me. The only thing I do differently on here is any donations on this channel go to my streaming software, which is about £25 a month, and anything that's left over goes to the bunnies. That's the only thing different, is the streaming software that, as I say, I have to fund all of that. So if you specifically want it to go to the bunnies, just say, but if not, it will go to keep me up and running. But like I say, if anything else goes to the bunnies, and if you want to make sure yours goes to the bunnies and not to the streaming software, then just say, Penny, I want this to go to the bunnies, and that's fine. I've been looking forward to this, and I've just been, oh no, Luce, I'm so sorry, darling. What the? Okay, I'll speak to you after. Vertec, hello, it's been a while. How you doing, my friend? We've got Tony G in the house, David Banner. Luce, message me on Telegram. Jackie, hello, my darling. How you doing, sweetheart? Lovely lady, always so supportive. Vicky, another lovely lady. You guys are amazing. Coco Chanel, beautiful Louise in the house. Shelley. So some of you might not have wrenches because you might not have been with me on this channel before. So if you come in and you don't have a wrench and you have one on the other channel, bear with me. I'm having to do it slowly, and just remember, I don't use this channel a lot. So Shelley is here from Canada. We've got with Teresa Stott. I was born within spitting distance of Pendle Hill. Well, tomorrow night we've got a paranormal call-in show. Our Friday night call-in show will be a little bit different tomorrow night. It's going to be on here, and it's going to be all paranormal, not just ghosties. If you've seen a UFO, or if you've seen Bigfoot, if you've seen a ghost, anything, any haunted stories, bring them on. We're going to get people coming up and telling us their spooky stories tomorrow night. So, Leanne, hello, sweetheart. Good to see you, darling. I'll sort wrenches out shortly. Rebecca, hello, sweetheart. How are you? Rebecca's now in the Telegram group. I did get your email last night, Rebecca, but I didn't reply. I'm so sorry. I was half asleep, but I did get it. We've got Tony G, my old mucker in the house. David Banner's here. Anybody that I haven't said hello to yet? Oh, well, thank you, Funky. I appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. We've got Rocket Roy. Hello. Good to see you, mate. Vertic. Some people might be Vertec. I will go and sort it out. I cleared the wrenches off both channels a while back. That's why, if you've not been in, hello, Ted, how you doing? I cleared them all off because we had a couple of trolls managed to get wrenches and impersonate people. So everybody's went. Leanne, hello. Alex Belfield didn't donate. He didn't where his donations gone, but I slightly have suspicions. Yeah, he didn't post any proof. We had lots of holidays. I post proof. I posted some receipts last week for the members. So if you're a member on my other channel, hello, Millie Love, you would have seen it. So I do post proof. And I'll be posting some more proof as well over the weekend. And this time it's going to be for everyone to see because, because some people donate who aren't members. They give PayPal. So everyone will get the receipts. So there you go. Dream big in the house. Good to see you, my lovely friend Ted. Geraldine, welcome to the live stream. We got Peaky Blinders in the house. Shared and like, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you haven't got a wrench, just bear with me, guys. Rachel M in the house. Thank you, sweetheart. I've got to do it. You see, I can't do it. Oh, really, Vicky? On the other channel? Ah, thank you. Excuse me. You just can't see it on this one. I apologise. We'll be back on the other channel. Not tomorrow night, over the weekend and next week. But hello, Steve. Good to see you there. We've got Sharon S in the house. We've got the beautiful Gemma. Hello, darling. How you doing? Right then, we've got 73 watching. I've sent Jane the link. So I think Jane is going to come. Let me know, Vicky, if you want one, darling. Jane is going to be joining me tonight to help me out. So there's a lot to get through. It probably will have to be done in two. Yeah, don't feed the trolls. I'm putting the receipts out for you guys, not for them. Hello, Mia. How you doing, darling? Do the newbies on here? This is normal to bear with it. Yes, it is. You see, I do this all on my own, you know. Well, Jane's going to help me tonight. So, excuse me, to give wrenches, I have to go into a completely different... Oh, really, Jem? Wow. I have to go into a completely different thing. So bear with me, guys. Please bear with me. Right. I've set up a special email for channel research. So let me just get into it. Just give me a tick. I was going to do this before and didn't. Hello, Shelley. I'm going to give you a wrench. Hang on a minute. What's going on here? I thought I'd given you one, Diane. I'm sorry. Right then. Mia is here as well. Mia joined the membership recently. So let me just sort you out. We've got Chuck the Canuck. All the trolls can suck at a D. I agree. There you go. Right then. Rachel M is here. So what I'm going to do, I need to get into my research. But why I'm getting into that, and I've got to mess around getting into it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play a little bit of a video. So let me just get this up as an introduction. I was hoping Jane would be here by now. She's not here. Jane, come on. Let me know, guys, before I put this video on. Let me know if just one if yes, two if no, and three if don't know. Have you heard of the Pendle witches? Just let me know while I'm just getting into this this video. Grab everything. I was running a little bit late, you see, because I was sorting a few things out. So I needed to get this done before I went live. So just bear with me and I'm just going to get into this. And Jane will be here soon, hopefully. Jane, if you're watching, I've sent you the link to your Telegram. I didn't want to put it in the chat because we might get some trolls hitting the link. So have you heard of the Pendle witches? Doesn't matter where you live, if you're in the UK, if you're in the USA, it doesn't matter. Just have you heard of the Pendle witches? If you haven't, you will do by tonight, put it that way. Right, so, oh God, my voice is going. Bear with me. I can't see chat at the moment, but I will get into it in a moment. I've managed to find as well, guys, right, while you're putting them answers in, managed to find, do you remember when Most Haunted went there? Well, managed to find the original Most Haunted live from Pendle Hill. So that's going to be interesting, folks. Right, I'm just going to get into this now. Oh my God, my voice is going. Right, okay, I'm going to close that down. Right, I'm in now. I'm going to get back into the chat. We've got 85 watching. We've got quite a few. We've got no, says Candice. Lucia, hello. Crafty Cat says, I like the Black Irish. I like the Black Irish, yes. Yes, Dave. I've missed some. Sorry, I wasn't in the chat. A chap called Simon Entwistle says Stone Rose Pipe, is it? Roseby, sorry, has some fab ghost tales. Really? Do you have any contact details for it? You might come on tomorrow night. Never heard of him, Salon Edge. I've missed some of this, sorry. Hello, Punch Narrative. I've heard there's some witchy shops. Yeah, we're going to go into all of that. What we're going to do, we're going to start off at the history, and then we're going to work up to what is going on there now. Mary loves Dixon, Steve. I've missed some of this. Who else said they have heard of it? Gail Hardy, hello, welcome to the live stream. Gail Hardy says no. Rocket Roy says yeah. Dig Down Deep, yes. Gemma says no. Jean says no. Vertex puts a broomstick on. Carl has to peel, but lots and lots of ones. It's in Lancashire. Just keep smiling, Penny. It pisses them off more. Exactly. Vicky, do you want a spanner? Tomo, hello, how you doing, my friend? Ray Clay, how you doing, bud? Good to see you, mate. And we've got the lovely Gemma here. We've got Angel. Angel's here. Where's Jane? Up near Bath is a house. Hello, everyone joining. Rachel M. No, Angel of the North. It's actually Pendle. It's actually in Lancashire. And one of the reasons, there's apparently a lot of witchcraft in that area. And hello, Funky, by the way. I don't think I said hello to you. I can't remember. Sorry if I didn't. The reason why this is more interesting is because a lot of people that are following the Nicola Bulley case. Now, this stream has got nothing to do with Nicola Bulley at all whatsoever, but it's in the same area. And because people are discussing witchcraft in that area, I says, right, okay, let's go and have a look at what witchcraft is, the history of it. So it's got nothing to do with Nicola Bulley, but it's just in that area. What we're going to be doing, because we're waiting for the inquest, we're going to be looking at what has happened around there, because I'm hearing more and more that it is still prevalent today. Paz has been there. Paz, would you like to pop up and just tell your story? Yeah, Jane's okay. I spoke to her long ago, so maybe she's not got a notification. Excuse me. Paz, if you want to nip up and tell what you felt there before I start, it's up to you. Love your tangent tree. I'm just got my cuppa now, trying to get my voice back. Hello, Mad Matt. Let me know, Paz, and I'll send you the link. If not, you might be at work, actually. You at work? I think you are, aren't you? Paz is at work. Right then, so what we're going to do, we're going to get into the history, the original history of the... Oh, let me get into that, sorry. The history of the Pendle witches. I found a lot of research papers, but... Hello, Brummy Debs. I've just realised the day. Sorry, Paz. It's tomorrow night. You're off, isn't it? Maybe you could... Tomorrow night, Paz, we're having a paranormal call-in show. So you should come over and come up. Brummy Debs is here. Danny is here. Good old Paz. They're working, but I'm not right. My voice keeps going. So there's a video that I've come across. Quite interesting. And it's about the history of Pendle. So let me just grab this up. Why is it playing a bloody advert? Apologies for this. Shouldn't be playing an advert because I've got bloody premium, so that's not right. There you go. Right, I'm going to start sharing this in a minute. So this is going to give us a little bit of history, and then I'm going to get into and find some articles and what actually happened with the Pendle witches. There were actually 12 tried, 10 were killed, 1 died in prison, and 1 was released. But just watch a little bit of this to give you a little bit of history. This is quite an old video from about 10, 12 years ago. A lot of people have copied this video and uploaded it, but I've managed to find the original person who made it. So here we go.
And a woman is in a courtroom. She's accused.
Janet Davis was a key.
So Janet Davis is the daughter of the first woman that was accused of being a witch. Okay, and she was a key witness, and she condemned her own mother and uncle and grandma to death. So we'll just let a little bit more history here. We'll watch a little bit of this video, and then I'll read out some articles that I found, and then what we'll do, we'll move on. Hello Peaky Blinders, I've not said hello to you, but I think I have. That we'll do, then we'll move on because I found some footage from Most Haunted. Anyone remember that? Let me know in the comment section. Give me a 1 if you've watched Most Haunted live Pendle Hill edition. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about, or 2 if you don't, you've not watched that one, or 3 if you don't know. Okay, well, you would really know, wouldn't you, either way? Do you remember the Pendle Hill episode? I think it was 2006-ish. We're going back a long time. It was, they had to call an ambulance. I've managed to dig it out of the archives. So we've got Angel watched it, Vicky watched it, Louise says no, Jean says no, Carlos says yeah, Ray Clay, make me laugh. Gemma doesn't know. Dig Down Deep, no. Funky, no. Diane, no. Crafty Cat, yes. Daydreamer, no. Brummy Debs, what? There's a big mixed bag here. Not sure, says Steve. Leanne Marie, no. Millie, no. Punch Narrative, no. Janet, hello, darling. How you doing, sweetie? Janet says no. Thank you, by the way, for sticking up for me. Really appreciate you, hon. Gail, no. Shelley, no. Most people don't know what I'm talking about. It was a long time ago. So Bailey Boo, hello. We're going to watch a little bit more of this history, and then we're going to get back into it. Okay.
Key witness in a trial
is basically where witchcraft came from, and it actually originated in Denmark. Okay. Oh, thank you, Ray Clay. It actually originated in Denmark, and I'm just going to grab an article up for you. So I'm just going to close this down a moment. I just wanted you to watch the beginning of that video, because that child was the one who actually sentenced 10 members of her own, 10 people, 3 of her own family to death. So I'm just going to grab the actual history of how witchcraft, how it originated to be illegal. And then I've also managed to find the Parliament Act for today. So open with Google Slides. What's Google Slides? Hang on. This article's that old. It's not opening properly. Oh, what's this? Google Slides. I've never even heard of Google Slides. But there you go. We learn something new every day. Right then. So I found this article here. So I'm just going to read this out to you. Of how it became illegal to be a witch in England in the 1600s. It actually started with King James VI. He was the King of England. I think he was also King of Scotland at the time. I think he was like James I. I'm not 100%, but he was also King of Scotland at the time. And he was the one, he didn't like witches, but at the time, people were allowed to practice it. Now, England had become mostly Christian by then. We hadn't quite had this form of Christianity we see now, but it was pre-Christian. But pagans were still allowed. Good bus from Manchester City. Really, hello, North County Country Girl, by the way. Welcome to the live stream. So King James VI didn't like witchcraft. I just want to give you a tiny bit of history on why they were doing this, why they were killing witches. I'm not going to focus too much on it because I don't want to bore people. But let me know, do you want to hear the history? You might not. Do you want to hear the history of why witchcraft was seen as evil and why they did this? Just let me know. Amberlyn, hello, Sprinks, how you doing? All women thrown in river with thumbs tied opposite big toes. Bailey Booth says yes. Yeah, it's an interactive show. We work together. Now, you guys, hello, Scully. You guys might say to me, Penny, we don't care about the history and why they didn't like witches. We just want to get down to the nitty gritty of how they died. Or you might say, yes, Penny, we want to hear the history. So we work together on this stream. Don't mind. Yes. Okay. Do not bore people, Penny. Well, thank you, Unity Calling. I appreciate that. I just don't want to bore you. Okay. So most people say yes. Right. So James VI was the King of England at the time. And most people weren't that bothered by witches. We just make this bigger for you so you can read it properly. Okay. I'm going to take my comments off the screen as well so you can see. Okay, that's better, isn't it, guys? I can put me down the bottom. I shouldn't get in the way. There you go. Most people weren't bothered by witches, but James wanted them gone. So he told the people to let his government know if they had seen anyone practicing witchcraft. Reminds me of the lockdown a little bit, asking your neighbours, have you seen anybody wandering around outside the hours exercise or not wearing a mask? Remember that? Okay, so in 1612, a lady called Alison Device was begging on the road to Cone. She asked a man called John Law for some pins, but he was poor and had none. She was cross and cursed him. Soon after, he fell to the ground and became ill. He blamed Alison. So Alison, this is talking about the initial Pendle witches, but what's been missed out of this article, which is really annoying me, is how he came to hate witches. So I'm just going to tell you myself because it's not in this article. James VI actually went over and spent some time in Denmark. He actually married a Danish princess. And in Europe, before they started hating on witches in England, in Europe, they were already killing pagan. They were worse there. They burnt them at the stake. Now, in England, they didn't burn witches at the stake. That was actually, they did it in Scotland, but not England. But in Europe, Denmark specifically, they were much crueler. I'm not saying they were kind in England, it was cruel, but they were even worse. They tortured witches. They had fun out of watching anyone suffer who basically was pagan. You didn't even have to say you were a witch. You just had to just be pagan or denounce Christianity, because Christianity had literally flooded Europe since the Romans came in. The Romans introduced Christianity, and most of the pagan tribes, like even the Anglo-Saxons, when they first came into England back in 500 and something, they were pagans. They become Christians. So Christianity was flooding throughout Europe, but there were still pockets of paganism left. And basically, paganism is what they called witches. That's what it is now. Okay, so let's keep going. That's a bit of a history. So he came back from Europe, and he said, basically, he says, right, I want to stop all witches in this country. I want to stop them all. And he was being sort of influenced by his time in Denmark. So this lady again, so this is the story of the first one, okay? So she asked a man called John for some pins. No one knows whether she offered to pay for them or not, and he said no. Then she cursed him and he became ill. He fell over, apparently. He fell over and he blamed Alison. He became ill. She even apparently, this article's not giving as much detail, but I've read other articles, so I've been researching this for days now. And she actually took him home to make sure he got home okay. And then she did curse him, but she felt really, really bad. John Law told the guards and they arrested her. Alison was scared and told them it was her fault. She admitted that she had cursed this man because she felt bad. She told the guards that she and her grandmother had once been begging for money from a miller called Richard Baldwin. When he had refused, they had cursed him too. A year later, the miller's daughter's dad died. A year later, Miller's daughters had died. The guard has heard enough and arrested the grandmother too because of what Alison had mentioned. So Alison not only admitted that she was a witch and she cursed John Law, she also went and blurted out that her own mother had also done this. Now, no one knows whether she was bragging and saying, I am a witch, I caused that to happen, and guess what, my mum cursed this other person and his daughter died. You know, why would you do that? I think this is probably because the witch finder general hadn't really gotten going yet, and nobody had actually been hung for being a witch at this point, so she obviously didn't realise what was coming. Yeah, I don't know, Peter. Welcome, by the way. They were sent to Lancaster Castle to await their trial. 9 other women were arrested for admitting that they were witches. One of these ladies was Alice Nutter. Now, most people have heard of Alice. She's the most heard of witch. A week later, a meeting was arranged at the Malkin Tower in Blacko to discuss how they could free the women. 9 people thought of a plan to kill the jailer and blow up the castle with gunpowder. The guards also heard about their plan and they were sent to Lancaster Castle to be tried for witchcraft. In all, there were 11 women arrested and sent to Lancaster Castle for witchcraft. These women were called the Pendle witches, the Salisbury witches, and a Padiham witch. All in all, there were 20 that were brought to trial in the August. So there was witches from other places. This one was down south, I think. The trial began. There was not any real evidence, just gossip, rumours and confessions from people who lied. After a 3-day trial, the Salisbury witches, we don't need to know about that because, well, it's not the Pendle witches, but the Salisbury witches were found innocent, but 10 of the people were found guilty of witchcraft and were sentenced to death, so that the other witches were found guilty. 12 of the women accused of being witches lived around Pendle Hill. People today climb up Pendle Hill because they think that is where Pendle witches used to meet to do witchcraft. What we're going to be looking as well, we might not get time today, what we're going to be doing is looking at witchcraft today in Pendle. Witchcraft today. So let me just see if I can find a better video. There wasn't that much information in there at all, was there? Luckily, I'd read it all myself. I've been researching this for days, like I said. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to get another article up. Bear with me. I'm working on 1 laptop at the moment, not 2. Didn't have time to get the other one together. I'm just like, wonder where Jane is. I hope she's okay. Hello, Belinda. Hello, little Miss Sunshine. Yeah, most people have heard of Alice. That's what most people have heard of, Alice Nutter. And ironically, that she's the most famous, but she isn't the one that was the posh one. One of them was posh and had money. And people thought they actually kept her separately. So I found the article now. Hang on a minute. Let's just get this up. So I found another article with a little bit more detail, and then we'll watch a little bit more of the video. I'm just trying to give you an idea of where this all came from. This was brought in by James VI. He had an obsession after spending time in Denmark about witchcraft. So perhaps the most notorious witch trial of the 17th century was the Pendle witches. Now, this is an image of today. Now, if you go to Pendle today, hello Foxtrot, hello Lauren Love. This was today's witches. They're still there. You can visit there, and they're all dotted around everywhere. It's really interesting. I'd still love to go. And it says here 12 people were accused. 1 died while held in custody. 11 went to trial. 1 was tried and found guilty at York because she lived across the border in Yorkshire. So they took her to the York dungeon. Well, not the dungeons, the York prison. Now, I actually went to York prison at Christmas, and I was actually in the cell of one of the witches that were tried. Interesting, isn't it? I was actually in the cell where she was held before she was hung, and it was creepy as hell. I'm definitely going to go back there. It was really interesting. And the other 10 were tried at Lancaster. Now, Lancaster Castle still lives today. I would like to go there as well. Only 1 was found not guilty in an unusual trial, in that it was all documented in an official publication, The Wonderful Discovery of Witches in the County of Lancaster by Clerk of the Court Thomas Potts. And it was well documented. The story has remained as a well-known legend. Also, just over 3 centuries saw trials held in England, but fewer than 500 were executed for this crime. This one series the trials in the summer of 1612, and therefore accounts for just 2% of all witches executed. It's important to understand the events. Now, I've given you a brief at the beginning description of what happened, but there was 2 witch families. There was the Demdike family and the Chattox family. They were both headed by old witches, and they were rivals. And what had happened was, it was accepted part of the village in the 16th century that were village healers who practiced magic. Now, up to this time, kings would always have a healer with them, and it was perfectly acceptable to have a healer. Hello, Myra love. It was perfectly acceptable to have a healer with you, but as I say, once James VI got in, he decided that healing was not good, and it was magic and witchcraft, and it was feared, basically. Right, okay. So the king's views were imposed by the law. King James I, I think that's King James I of Scotland. He imposed the law, each justice of the peace in Lancashire at the beginning of 1612. Now, he was instructed to compile a list of all those who refused to attend church or take communion. It was a criminal offence. So I'm giving you a bit of history that I hope was in them slides, but they weren't. Lancashire had been regarded as a wild and lawless society, probably related to the general sympathy with the Catholic Church. During the dissolution of the monasteries, the people of Pendle Hill openly opposed the closure of the nearby Sister Keegan Abbey and reverted straight back to Catholicism. When Queen Mary came to the throne in 1553, the region of Lancashire was thought of where the church was honoured without much understanding of its doctrine by the common people. It was with this background of unease that the 2 judges made their investigations and sentenced the Pendle witches. So they believed the people of Lancashire, Lancaster at the time it was called, weren't Christian enough. The story began between an altercation. I've just told you about this with John Law, and she actually admitted to cursing him. So I've just give you that part there. This goes into a lot more detail than what I've just read. Okay, it goes on. The trials were held at Lancaster between the 17th and the 19th of August, 1612. The old leader of the Demdike family, she never reached trial. She died in the dark, dank dungeon in which they were imprisoned. It was too much for her to survive. Now, the 9-year-old girl we've just seen, Janet Device, was a key supplier of evidence. So she actually turned on her own family to save herself. She gave evidence against those attending the meeting, but also against her mother, sister, and brother. When she gave evidence against Elizabeth had to be removed from the court, screaming and cursing her own daughter. Some of the Pendle witches seemingly to be genuinely convinced of their guilt, whereas others fought to clear their names. And some of them were like, yeah, I'm a witch. So what? Alison was one of them. She was one who believed in her own powers, and also the only one on trial who was faced with one of their victims, John Law, the guy who she wouldn't give her the pins. When John entered the court, it is documented that Alison fell to her knees, confessed, and burst into tears. That's probably not a good idea, is it really, to do that? So that did not help her case at all. Right then, so I'm just giving you some background on this, and then we're going to get more into the actual hanging themselves and the trials. Now, I have come across, like I say, Most Haunted. Now, Most Haunted did a live stream there. Some of you had heard of it, some of you hadn't. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to hope as well. We're going to hope that we don't get copyright struck by Yvette Fielding. Now, the only thing that it might happen is we might get shut down. Hold on, that's not right. Just get this up now. If we do, we get a blank screen, we just come back. So Most Haunted went there, I think it was 2006-ish, and they visited with Derek. This they're saying last night on Most Haunted, but it says there it's part 1, so it's not part 1, it's part 2. But this is what happened the night before. Now, whether you believe in this or not, they had to ring an ambulance. That happened.
Oh God, his face and his arms.
Tell me,
Oh God.
tell me.
He's doing this with his hands. Why is this happening to me?
Derek's possessed.
Oh God, oh my God. There's an energy in this room that is not of this earth. The only way I can say it is like alien. Did you feel that?
Oh,
Are you okay?
something just tugged the back of my coat. Can you all try and move this table together? Try and make it move more. Okay. That was last night. Tonight is Halloween, and we have come to one of the most paranormally active places in the United Kingdom. We've come on the hunt for the ghosts of the witches of Pendle, and this is Most Haunted Live.
I watched this live.
Hello, good evening, and welcome
Dr.
to
David
Most
Ball,
Haunted
there he
Live
is.
Pendle Hill. This is, of course, Halloween. Traditionally, it's the most active
They
night
are
of
still
the
together.
paranormal
They do
calendar.
still do Most
History
Haunted.
goes back to before prehistoric times. There's evidence that early man used to perform dark rituals on this night to keep evil at bay and to mark the end of summer.
I want to see if I can find the bit where they have to call the
Lancashire
ambulance.
witches.
So Yvette's going to give us a little bit of history now. So let's Yvette
To shudder.
give us some
We're going in
history.
search of Demdike and Chattox, 2 of the Pendle witches.
There's 2 of the families. Okay.
Tonight, our investigation team scours the bleak and hostile countryside surrounding Pendle Hill in search of the infamous Lancashire witches. We investigate the Witches' Sabbat, scene of the terrifying Good Friday meeting, a tumble-down Tudor ruin which locals will not enter after nightfall, a derelict barn where old Demdike is said to have bewitched a cow and Chattox cast a spell to turn milk sour. Did these women truly possess supernatural powers, or were they innocent healers caught up in a world of paranoia? Join us for a truly terrifying Halloween experience, only on Most Haunted Live.
Well, to help us on our psychic detective investigation, we have the cream of the paranormal world. So please will you welcome the men in charge of our research. It's our historians, Richard Jones and Richard Felix.
Right, let's see what they've got to say about the history.
And with me on the sofa here is one of our experts, of course. It's our voice of reason, Matthew Smith. They are now arriving at the first of tonight's location. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yvette Fielding, Derek Okora, and Kieran O'Keefe.
Kieran O'Keefe. So I'm not going to show it all, obviously. We're just going
hello to everybody in the audience. Hi. It's very, very dark.
Significant night.
Know where we're going. Derek obviously doesn't know where we're going. I'm very, very nervous. I'm very anxious because we're dealing with a lot of history. We're hopefully going to uncover. Hopefully, I want it all to happen.
results, which might well be relevant for our investigation tonight. So,
Right, okay, so here we
He's
go.
doing that.
That's
Is that what the hill is?
That's
where
exactly what
the
it is.
hill
Is it?
Derek's
Yeah,
possessed, I
Okay,
think.
that's what he's saying. So he's pointing directly to the hill. He's saying wait.
David
Wait.
Wells. Sounds like he's farting, doesn't
No,
it?
I hate to be melodramatic about this, but it's like he's saying wait until
I've been to
tomorrow.
Bodmin jail.
what does that mean? Wait until tomorrow, David Wells.
Well, I think he was referring to the fact that he's waiting for Yvette and Derek.
Oh, so
deliver
he
this
went
being
there
his-
that day. Okay.
Heard that. It doesn't make me feel very happy at all. Derek obviously can't hear, so apparently David Wells is saying that last night he picked up on a not particularly very nice entity saying that wait until tonight, basically.
Yes.
And they're going to be waiting for us.
So I'm trying to find the bit where they have to ring
First
the
vigil.
ambulance.
So if you'd like to do that right now. And whilst they do that, let me tell you, Inquisition against the perceived threat of witchcraft, and thousands of people lost their lives. Two rival poor families in the Pendle Hill area, known as the Chattocks and Demdikes, found themselves caught up in this purge.
Hello,
And their
beautiful
mutual
Jane.
recriminations
How you
eventually
doing,
found them
darling?
accused of practicing
I'm just going to
dark
finish it
arts.
off, sweetheart.
Once
I'm
in
going to just
court,
leave
they
me,
never
if that's
petitioned
all
their
right.
innocence, and they were
'Cause
savagely
I'm
hanged.
ready to go now. So.
It's a harrowing story, and one which has reverberated
Hello,
down the
just me,
generations. But the
23,
crucial thing about these witches is that they never protested their innocence.
Hello,
And there's a
beautiful
very strong
Ellen.
feeling in these parts that they were genuine, malevolent witches. Now, the accused and their families met on Good Friday in 1612 to allegedly perform rituals and cast charms and spells. This witch's Sabbat, as it's known, occurred at a place called Malkin Tower, somewhere in the Pendle Hill area. The building, well, it no longer exists, and no one knows exactly where it was. So tonight, we aim to find it. Julian.
That's right. Well, the location of the Sabbat and the Malkin Tower is a mystery. But last night, we asked you to use your combined forces to help us pinpoint it. We appealed to you
Right,
to
so what we're
use
going to
your
do, we're going to see if we
viewing
can find...
powers to pinpoint where the
To the famous village of Newham, which is itself rich in minerals. Could this be the rough building?
if you think they were actually witches with to you.
Thanks. Now, Yvette and Derek and the team have now... This is an aerial photograph which shows it 20 years ago as a very small cottage. The rumours are that it sits on an old and now lost path called Corpse Way, and the current owners believe it was once the local morgue. Either way, they've heard footsteps from upstairs and unusual moaning and movements around the upper floor. But what was its use in Sixth Vigil?
Okay. Well, we're just coming inside Lower Wellhead Farm.
Do you
You know,
like
I
seeing
feel
the
it's
classic
because,
most haunted stuff, guys?
I've got swirling round me here now. Was elderly, an elderly woman, a woman.
Old Derek.
In mind. If it's like,
If anyone's got the clip
I just
where
want
they
to
have to
say
call the
a mother
ambulance,
and
please let
maybe
me
a
know
son
if you've
figure.
got it.
Come on. Go on. Okay. Elizabeth, is that the name? Elizabeth?
Glad you like it,
Is this the
guys.
woman, Sam? Is that the woman? Okay. Give me it again.
I love ghost
It
hunting. I've
sounds
just
like
not been for years.
Device. Elizabeth Device.
Elizabeth Device.
Elizabeth Device.
That's
What
the young
period of
girl.
time
What
period?
period is this, please? Again,
That's the 9-year-old.
he's given me 1610, 16.
Now, the irony here, okay, which I haven't got to yet, was the young girl who you seen at the beginning of the live stream, who was 9, and she actually, she actually was a key witness in the trial against her own mother, her grandmother, and her brother. The irony is that what happened with her, she disappeared for like 30 years. No one heard nothing of her. Then she herself got done for witchcraft as well, because there's a record of her in Lancaster Castle 30 years later, but there's no record of her hanging. So it is thought that she actually died whilst in prison. That's just an interesting fact. No, you don't have to believe in it, whether you believe it or not. But at the time, this was big news because hello Daffy, this was big news because they had to call an ambulance and everything, which to me gave it a little bit more, whether Derek was really possessed or whether Derek was faking it. Either way, these people weren't ill. Yeah, Westminster Paranormal. Is that what's her face? What's her name? Hello, Jacqueline, love. How you doing? What's her name? Laura. Well, see, I've got a friend over in Wales. Well, she's on the border, and she runs her own ghost hunting, and we usually go with her. I've not been for ages because of having Jack, but if I have someone to look after Jack, I can go. So I can. Al will have Jack, so I need a partner. I need someone to go ghost hunting with me. And if I can get someone to go with me, I'll get back into it. Like I say, I've been doing paranormal investigations for years. I started them when this was going.
In 10.
Are they in the room now? Are they here with us?
I feel that they're listening to us. They're listening to us.
So Elizabeth Device
What's that?
was the 9-year-old girl, and she also was a witch herself.
I just heard it's like a ting.
Now, Derek could have very
Yes,
easily
yeah.
found this out off the
You
internet.
did?
Yeah.
Which direction did you hear it from?
This is 2006.
Through there.
People had the
Yeah.
internet
Yeah.
then.
Oh God, I tell
Hello,
you what,
Sarah.
I don't know what it is. I just feel really. I'm
Yeah.
not comfortable at all.
Let me
No,
know because
no.
Do you want to move
car's
through
not up
into
and
there?
running at the
See
moment.
what's
I'm not
that
driving at the
came from?
moment.
Yeah.
So I need someone to help me, take me.
Lots of furniture
Or
and stuff as well. So
Yeah.
be careful. Watch the
Remember
cables.
Derek.
You're right, Stuart.
it was comedy gold. But he's died now, guys. Rest in peace.
This is quite a big room in here.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen really haunted. I didn't have the internet till
I'm also getting this
2005.
feeling that's coming since we've moved into this area as well. Is if I'm two women. Okay. Yes. Whittle.
Oh, God.
Whittle. Sorry, forgive
it
me.
the
Lily.
orbs?
Whittle.
Now, do you guys remember Kath, the Yvette's cousin, the makeup lady? It was her that fainted, and they had to call the ambulance.
Whittle is this other lady.
Okay.
Whittle. Is that first name? It's surname.
Okay.
Come on. And yes.
Let me
It's
know
like I said,
who here
again,
believes that Derek is
it's
really
shady.
talking to
It's
ghosts. Give
not
me a
good.
1. If he's
And
not,
what will
give me a
happen on
2.
Halloween?
And if he is, give me a 3.
David, thank you. First up, this
If you believe that Derek is really getting possessed, 1, and talking to ghosts. 2, if you don't believe it, and 3, if you don't know. I can't find that clip. I'll keep looking. If anyone's got the clip of where they have to call the ambulance, let me know. So what are people saying in the live chat? If you're watching on the replay, please let me know in the comment section. 1 says puncture the narrative. She had dial up. 2, Sprinks, who doesn't believe. Mad Matt believes. Bridget is here. She doesn't believe. David Welling doesn't. So we say David Welling, not to be confused with David Wells. David Wells was just on there then. We had David Wells and Dr. David Bull in the studio, and their nicknames for 2 of you guys who none of you are here. The 2 aren't here now. 2 for Stony. Steve doesn't know. Daniel doesn't know. Hello, welcome, Teresa, love. Some of it's quite pokey, but honestly, you see, you might have. Well, I used to this. I've still got photographs of me in a hello English Buttercup in a Roman coffin in Dudley Castle from 2004 or something stupid. I used to do. I've been doing this for years. I even went to one when I was pregnant, but I'd only just found out I was pregnant, and they said you can't come. You're not supposed to be here, really. Leanne says 2. Gail says yes, please. What for the live? Stephen doesn't know. I want to visit East Coast. Yes, I actually booked that. And then the lockdown happened. I booked it because my mate runs the ghost hunts, but I don't know if she's coming back up here. I'll have to message her. Gail Hardy believes. Bridget, they have to say that, don't they? 2, only because it came out as a liar. Yeah, he was a liar, but yeah, Kieran O'Keefe did debunk. He's actually a parapsychologist from Liverpool University. Kieran O'Keefe. He's a very intelligent man. Kinky, says Terry Knowles Band again. Rebecca charged now only house. I don't know what that means, but I've obviously missed a conversation there between you guys, which is fine. Can you research places before you go there? Back when Derek was doing, well, he said he didn't. They reckon that he didn't know. Of course he knew. But you can do official ghost hunts there, Rebecca, darling. You can go there because I say I booked it all. Right then, so I'll try and find the information that says that Elizabeth. Is Jane okay? I'm missing a lot of chat, okay, because I'm obviously doing this show. But I need to know, is Jane okay? I've been a bit worried about her. My voice is going again. Let me just see if this is another clip of most. This is a... okay, right. I've managed to find the full Most Haunted Halloween, the entire live. I laid in a coffin. I might find the photos. Right, guys, I'm going to try and find the bit where the ambulance comes. Just bear with me. If it happens on this episode, it was on for 3 nights. It was on the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, the night before Halloween, then Halloween the night after. I think it was
And
night
he's,
2.
I feel his mother and himself.
Just bear with me.
Was blaming, she said.
I had all these on DVD. I think I threw them all away. I know what. Who has places to put DVDs now?
Room. Alice, can you hear me?
Alice is the original lady who.
There's a rumble again.
Whose own daughter.
You did?
Yes. It was like above.
Where, John, tell me where you heard
It's
it.
difficult for me to work
Oh, sorry,
out where it's
ask
coming
Alice
from.
Nutter. No, that's a different one.
There, but I looked round. My first instinct was that it was coming from there. But there's no one stood behind us, and the mic was pointing.
That's weird. I'll ask
Should we
again.
say
I'll ask
yes?
again. Okay.
Could have been a response.
Let me point the mic up at the ceiling.
Okay. Alice, can you hear me? If there's a spirit woman here in this house, please can you come forward? Please can you make a noise? Can you shout out? Can you try and talk to us? Touch one of the people here. If you can see us or hear my voice, please try and talk to us. Try and make a noise. Try and walk towards us. Give us any sign at all. Knock on the door, knock on the wall, move something, anything at all. Alice, please.
Can't find it. The ambulance.
Can you actually try and communicate with
So
this
frustrating,
being?
folks.
Well, I
Can you
think
open yourself?
mentally, I was thinking about this downstairs, and I'd like to try that.
Okay, do you want to try it now?
Yeah.
Does that mean we just have to be totally quiet?
Just quiet, yes,
Not
please.
say anything?
No.
Okay.
There could be, whilst I'm doing that, there could be response within the atmosphere and the ether.
Okay.
If anyone does experience something that, you know, they're not used to, please say so, because that would be the energy coming round. And I feel
Name, sometimes date.
whatsoever to the whatever was here.
So if anyone can find the clip of them fainting,
Please do the table as a sign of
I
yes.
think this might have been it actually.
And you can hear in my voice.
The table was literally throwing itself around and then one of them passed out. I want to see if I can find it. No. Yeah, was that it then? Oh, she's back in the studio. So, no, this wasn't that night. How annoying. I'm going to keep trying to find it. And if I find it, I'll do a part 2 because there is there's an episode where Derek fainted and they actually had to call an ambulance. And it was a really interesting stream. Okay, so we'll get back into the history of the Pendle witches. Just to let you know as well, there's actually the Parliament Act. Now, the official Parliament Act still has the laws in place. So we're going to read them out to you now. So let me just get these open. Okay, and then we'll go back into some more of the history. Witchcraft, a perceived facility to summon evil spirits and demons to do this. Again, UK Parliament, look, see? This is the official UK Parliament website. Evil spirits and demons to do harm from others was linked to religion to the extent that medieval churches had powers to punish those who dabbled in magic and sorcery. Its priests were able to exorcise those who had become possessed by malignant spirits. During the 16th century, as we know, many people believed that witchcraft, rather than the workings of God's will, offered a more convincing explanation of sudden and unexpected ill fortune, such as the death of a child, bad harvests, or death of cattle. Witch hunting became an obsession in some parts of the country. I'm just going to pop the link into this. So if you want to see this, you can. Okay, there's the link. If you watch on the replay, please check the live chat. In 1542, Parliament passed the Witchcraft Act, which defined witchcraft as a crime punishable by death. It was repealed 5 years later, but then restored by a new act in 1562. A further law was passed in 1604 during the reign of King James I, like I've just said, who took a keen interest in demonology and even published a book on it. In 1562 and 1604, acts transferred the trial of witches from the church to the ordinary courts. So normal courts were dealing with this. Witch hunting. Formal accusations against witches, who were usually poor elderly women, reached a peak in the late 16th century, particularly in southeast England. 500 witches were put on trial there between 1560 and 1700, but only 112 were executed. So they're talking about other areas. In 1736, Parliament passed an act repealing the laws against witchcraft, but imposing fines or imprisonment on people who claim to be able to use magical powers. When it was introduced in the Commons, the bill caused that much laughter amongst MPs. Its promoter was John Conduit, whose wife was a niece of Sir Isaac Newton, a father of modern science, although keenly interested in the occult. That's interesting. The Act was repealed in 1951 by the Fraudulent Mediums Act, which in turn was repealed in 2008. In 1824, Parliament passed the Vagrancy Act, which fortune-telling, astrology and spiritualism became punishable offences. Now, it doesn't look like that's ever been repealed. So it doesn't say anything about that being repealed. So that's very interesting. So there's a little bit of history on the law and where it stands at the moment. So anyway, I hope you're all okay. I hope you're enjoying the live. Like I say, I was trying to find that from Most Haunted. That would have been great if I could have found that, because that was class. So Lancaster Castle as well. Who's been to Lancaster Castle? I've never been. I've done most castles in this country, but I've never been to Lancaster Castle. Let me know. Put a 1 in the comments if you've been to Lancaster Castle, 2 if you haven't, or 3 if you don't know. So what we're going to be doing on part of this, we're going to be looking at witchcraft today. That might have to be a part 2, but this is Lancaster Castle here. This is where they were held. Oh, hello, safe and sweet love. Dig Down Deep's been. I've been to York Castle Museum, and me, I was there at Christmas. Who else has been? To Dig Down Deep's been. Mad Matt hasn't been. Funky hasn't been. I'm going to say no as well. Number 2. Tony G hasn't. Rocket Roy hasn't. Tomo hasn't. Garfield the cat, hello, welcome, hasn't. Glad I tuned in, says Safe and Sweet. Have you changed your name or just got a new account? Sprinks hasn't. Millie has. Sunderland used to have curry dips. I don't know, you're obviously having a conversation. Peaky Blinders doesn't know. Maybe you went as a little whippersnapper and you don't remember. Daydreamer has. Vicky hasn't. I've been to lots of castles, same as me. Terry Knowles Band again, but not that one. Candice hasn't. New name, so Safe and Sweet. Rebecca hasn't been. Okay, so I haven't, well, not that I know of anyway. I don't remember. I don't think I'd ever really ventured up there when I was a kid. We always went to Wales when I was a kid, always. So Lancaster Castle is where, when people were convicted of witchcraft, they were held there. In Lancaster Castle, they went to the gallows on the moors above the town. What I find interesting as well is that apparently Lancaster Castle was still kept as a prison until not that long ago. Three Souls Paranormal. Hello, Steve. How you doing? Jane's had to reset her phone. Sorry, I meant I have. So Garfield the cat has visited the castle as a cat. Here we go. Let me just give you a wrench free speech, love. Hold on. You've got a new account, haven't you? I'm going to give you a managing mod as well, darling. I'm good, thank you, Steve. How are you? Penny, have you ever covered the Black Alchemist by Andrew Collins? No, I haven't. We have done Aleister Crowley, and we are looking at doing part 2 of that, or part 3. No castles out there. No, there isn't. We've got at least 2 Americans. We've got Three Souls Paranormal. Great channel if you're into the paranormal. And we have the beautiful Jane here, my glamorous assistant. She's in Ohio. Just got home from work, sister. Have we got any more Americans in the house? I know we have 2. I don't know if we have any more. I'm just looking through the chat now. Not that I know of. Do we have any more? But there might be some sneaky ones in here. Yvette's husband was always the one that was touched by the ghosts. Yeah, Carl. I'll never forget when Yvette Fielding had a excuse me, Yvette Fielding had a hysterectomy, right? And I remember during one of her live streams, yeah, of course you can, Steve. During one of their live streams, Yvette tried to contact her womb. That really happened. I'll never forget that, because I was an avid watcher of Most Haunted. Yes, Jeanette's in the US of A. Hello. They don't like being called that. Have you heard of Tony Stockwell? Yes, I have heard of him. Not for a while though. Yeah, if you want to check out Three Souls Paranormal, yeah, Silent Peach, I call it, it's still free speech to me. And there you go. If you want to check out Steve's channel. Okay, so now you may have heard them touching upon this ill-fated meeting. Now, I'm going to look into that a little bit more, because they had a meeting to try and overthrow. Now, the meeting was on the 18th of March, 1612, and a young woman by the name of Alison Device, who was the one who was out begging for the pins. We know all about this. She was new to the art of witchcraft. Indeed, she seems to have resisted being indoctrinated into what was a family business. So her mother was a witch. But as you know, she asked for the pins and he said no. So she cursed him and then he fell over and got ill. Okay. So that happened, and she shouldn't have admitted it, really. The most famous of the Pendle witches actually died before coming to trial. Elizabeth Sawney's old Demike, she was the Demike family. Remember, there was 2 families, had admitted to, we're going to look into the Witchfinder General in a moment as well, so just bear with me, that she was a witch. She also implicated many of her co-accused, as did Anne Whittle, the old Chattocks. Now, remember, we just heard Derek Acora, Dawn Acora, so if you ever watch French and Saunders, talk about a Whittle name coming through. Now, do you remember that? Just now, we know that Derek Acorus would have been researching this. It's not took me long anyway. Derek Acora apparently had this Whittle coming through. She was part of the Chattocks family. So we had the Chattocks against the Demidykes, 2 families, who was herself accused of the murder by witchcraft of Robert Nutter. Also implicated were members of both families. So both families were implicated, as we know. Oh, my voice is going. Others dragged into the affair. John and Jane Bulcock, a mother and her son, were tried for causing madness and for being at so-called Witches' Sabbath. This is what we're going to be looking at in a minute. Witches' Sabbath was held at Malkin Tower on Good Friday, 1612. That was a meeting of witches. Okay. Alice Nutter from Roughly Hall was accused of killing one Henry Mitten because he refused to give Demdike a penny. I was trying to be given away in 1612. Margaret Pearson was accused of bewitching one of her neighbour's horses to death, and Catherine Hewitt was accused of the murder of Anne Folds. So this was all held at Lancaster Castle, apart from one of them that went to York. So we're going to be looking at that in a moment. This the witches' Sabbath that was held, it was a meeting of witches. I think, if I remember rightly from my research, it failed. They were going to try and overthrow. They knew that the trials were coming of them. So let me just have a quick look and see if I can find it. Right. No one actually knows where that tower is now, but it's not there anymore, but it took place. I'm just having a quick look on here to see if I can find it. Excuse me. John Device was tried next. So all of this is all the family members who were tried. This is when the little girl went against her own family. First into the dock was old Chattock. She was accused of the murder of Robert Nutter some 18 years previously. She pleaded not guilty, but eventually confessed. So all of this was recorded officially. It was all recorded. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. David Wellings, hello. More chance of seeing a ghost than a GP. That is so true. Are you okay, Jane? Derek Akora is a scammer. He's dead though now. I don't like to speak ill of the dead. I'm trying to connect with my long lost wrench, says Belinda. I don't think a lot of people have had wrenches on here. Yeah, Sally Morgan, not very genuine. I'm just catching up with chat. I've been a Christian spiritualist since christened. I think a lot of people were innocent, you know, like, I don't know. I think a lot of them, people believed in that them days. And you don't know whether the power of suggestion meant that if we just hit a 69 or halfway, if we just got 69 likes. 68 according to me, but maybe that's wrong. We got 69, 68 likes, 69 likes. It's okay, Jane. Just let me know if everything's okay. Yeah, I think that these women were probably innocent. Now, I'm probably going to do one on the Salem witch trials, which maybe Jane will be better for anyway, because she is from America. But I think if you believe that these were unlawfully killed, give me a 1 in the chat. If you believe that they deserve to be killed, give me a 2 and 3 if you don't know. Did they deserve? Do you believe that these were really witches or they were wrongly killed? Bit of both, says Terry Knowles Band again. Angel says 1, that they were wrongly killed. The only way is crazy 1. When you're having affairs with Noble Vicky, I don't think anybody agrees, do they, that this was right? Terry Knowles Band again says 2. So there we go. Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one. Like, Deborah says 1, Dig Down Deep 1, Carla Sabure Blood 1, Jean doesn't know, Jacqueline Jones 1, Rebecca 1. Most people think that it was wrong. Mad Matt 2, Daniel 1, Gail 1. Most people think it was wrong, but on the other hand, Geraldine 1, 2, it depends, doesn't it? Because if they were doing if they were doing spells and people were dying, then surely, and you knew it. Don't forget that these people knew that they knew what was going to happen. It is a good job now, but in those days, people knew that if you were doing spells, then you would. So I don't know, probably not wise, but I think it was probably wrong. It was wrong what they did to them. I agree, but also they knew what the punishment was. This is what I don't get. So, you know, the Salem witch trials were a series of hearing and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft in colonial Massachusetts between Feb 1692 and 1693, says Sprinks. Penny, why is my blue spanner gone? I mean, it hasn't gone, darling. We're on a different channel. That's why you obviously didn't have one on this channel. I've not streamed on this channel for ages, darling. That's why. To give it you back, I have to go on to a different thing. So just bear with me. Right. Excuse me. The trials in Lancaster in 1612 were amongst the most famous witchcraft trials in history. This is mainly due to the fact that we have a very, albeit biased, account of them, left to us by the clerk of the court, Thomas Potts. In 1613, he published his account of these events in the book entitled The Wonderful Discovery of Witches. So that's really interesting. You must be able to buy that book. This is our only real primary source for what was going on in the more remote areas of Lancashire over all these years. And Potts was writing for an audience which included King James I himself, and one which was more than ready to believe in the existence of such evil. This was also a time of great tension and of anti-Catholic rhetoric. The gunpowder plot was still fresh in the memory because that was in 1605, and Potts chose to dedicate his book to Lord Kinvet, the man who had actually arrested Guy Fawkes in 1605. Politics and religion played their part in the prosecutions and convictions in Lancaster in 1612. But the inescapable fact remains, at the end of the day, 10 people lost their lives, found guilty of a crime that no longer even officially exists. So there you go. It's sad. Obviously, in today's world, no way should they have done that. No way. But my point is that they knew. I don't understand why they would go ahead and do these things, because they would have known what the punishment was. So I just find that rather strange. But maybe that's just me. Maybe best to keep your gob shut. But who knows what was going on in those days, you know? So there's still some more videos as well that I want to show. There's some really good old videos of history of people having a walk around there and stuff. Let me know, have you ever been to Pendle? Let me know in the live chat. Give me a 1 if you have, 2 if you haven't, or 3 if you don't know. You can looking at Pendle today as well. Let me just see if I can find the information. If you go round there today, it's totally different. So obviously it's different to what it was then, but if you go there today, there's still a lot of homage to let me just get this up now, to the witches. So I just want to show you a quick look at this now. I've been looking to see how prevalent witchcraft and paganism is in England now, in Lancashire. Lancaster, Lancashire. I'm just going to read the chat out. So, right, we had Ellen hasn't been. I've not been either, darling, but I do want to go. Candice hasn't been. Funky hasn't been. Jane says hi to Susie. Hello, Susie, love. Gail Hardy hasn't been. And nobody else said I haven't been. Garfield the cat has been. Let me sort your wrench out, Susie, love. Yeah, I've not taken it away, darling. 88 watching. Isn't that two fat ladies? I agree, the only way is crazy. Says Belinda. A lot of healers say you have to be registered with a certificate. It's bollocks. It's an actual gift. I'm 50-50. You see, I believe there are real mediums and so on. I do believe that, but I think there's so much fakery going on. Teresa Scott says, Funky's been. And Teresa Scott says, 1, I went with a group of school friends when I was 15. We climbed to the top of the hill. Interesting. I've heard of that. Only way is crazy. Yeah. So I found this article. This was from 2012, the old BBC. Now this is really interesting. It's 20th of August 2012, and this is actually a man dressed up as a woman here. So it reads on. It's 400 years since the Pendle Hill witch trials, which led to 10 people being hanged for witchcraft. But do modern witches still suffer prejudice? I've been told that there is a lot of paganism in Lancashire, and that's what I'm researching now for part 2 to this, is what is happening today. We've got the history of who the witches were. I will get all the names as well of all the witches that were killed. But this is today. It says he has carved out a successful career as an employment lawyer. But the 38-year-old, this is 12 years ago, so now he's not 38, he'll be 49. Sometimes known as Midin, also takes part in activities that he likes to keep secret. And it says, for Midin is the head of a witches' coven in Lancashire. And he says, we don't do anything sinister like devil worshipper, and we don't make human or animal sacrifice. We honour, revere, and give thanks to nature. We celebrate the seasons. It's not all blood and gore. In spring, we celebrate life and rebirth. In winter, decay and death, to make way for new life. His coven is in Chorley. It's little more than 30 miles from Pendle Hill, where in 1612, 10 people were seized amid claims of being in witchcraft. 400 years later, prejudice against witches still exists. It comes from ignorance and fear of the unknown, and it is the reason why rituals and celebrations are held in secret. So here he is here, okay? And it says in his spare time, he wears a cloak or something warm for the great outdoors and heads up a magical working group practicing traditional witchcraft, which includes druidry, shamanism, and Wicca. He said there is no conflict between his day job, which is an employment lawyer, and his spiritualism. My philosophy is to live in honour and honour every living thing, our landscape and the world we live in. Since he was a young child, Midrin has had an affinity with the countryside. I could feel the magic growing up. I was brought up a staunch Christian, but I wasn't enough, and he realised he felt paganism. So it goes on. The coven celebrates 8 Celtic festivals across the year, and the moon cycles in the Lancashire countryside, centred around a campfire where the motto is eat, drink and be merry. Hazel Woods of the Pagan Federation said there are witches of all social classes and occupations, but prejudice means many are still reticent, I've said that wrong, about declaring their beliefs. So this is talking about witchcraft in Lancashire today. There is still witchcraft going on. This article is quite interesting. I'll drop it in the live chat. Let me know if you're finding this interesting or if you're finding it boring. Let me know, folks. It's interesting, isn't it? There's a few other links here. I don't know if they'll work. Inside a witch's coven. The links aren't working. They're really old links. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to have a look at Pendle today. So there is still a lot of history there. And we will have a look at their most famous of the ones that were hung. That video that I was showing earlier as well, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on a tiny bit more of that video that we were watching at the beginning. Now I've given you some more history. See if I can find it. Hold on. I'm sure some of my emails haven't come through. Haunted. This is another video. This is an old video as well. I'm going to put a bit of this on while I'm just looking for something. Give you a little bit more of the history. We don't listen to that music though, do we? Hang on. This is 12 years old, this.
It's 1612. This is Pendle in the county of Lancashire. I'm a young local woman of a few material means, and I'm a Catholic, and for that I'm just about to be hunted down and executed. To the end of all time, in beauty eternal thy banner unfurled. In this turbulent time, King James I was at the throne and had just published his works Demonology, a guide for hunting down those suspected of practicing magic. The lines between religion and witchcraft were blurred, and superstition was rife. Lancashire in England's northwest had long been held up as a Catholic stronghold and was thought to be a dangerous and lawless land. And if you were a local magistrate intent on serving your king, then this was the perfect place to bag yourself a witch. The villages of Pendle in the northeast of the county are dominated now, as they were then, by Pendle Hill, which kind of shadows everything around it. I actually grew up in a village in this area, and even on the sunniest of days, it has an almost dark and brooding presence. Imagine then when Pendle Hill was covered in forest. The villages at its feet were wild and inaccessible, and dwellings often remote and lonely places to live. Two rival families, led by the matriarchal figures of Demdike and Chattocks, strike fear into local people who believe them to have special powers. They are said to use herbs and potions to cure ills or throw curses. Today we may have just seen them as healers or herbalists, widowed women trying to make their way in life. Yes, some of them might have been mischievous, intent on making others suffer some of their hardships. Or were they, quite simply, as a lot of people think, just devoutly following their religious beliefs? Ultimately, though, as we know, they came to a tragic end as they were sought out and sent for trial at Lancaster Castle in August of 1612. Despite being one of the most famous and well-documented witch trials in the world, the tale of the Pendle witches still remains a real mystery, and it is perhaps for this reason that it still has huge impact on the area, its residents and its visitors. I went to meet Mike Williams, tourism team leader for Pendle Council and Pendle witch expert. So Mike, tell me, there are lots of rumours surrounding this group of women. Some say they were healers, some say they were just old women who like to cause a bit of havoc. Some say they were Catholics. There's a lot of mystery still surrounding it, isn't there?
Well, they were all women, that's for sure. But there were women who had a few talents. They had obviously knowledge of local plants. And obviously, in those days, you couldn't just go down the chemists. You had to go and have some advice from women who were wise, and that's what the word witch actually means. If you go back to the Anglo-Saxon, it's Wicca, which is wise. They were wise old women who knew all the plant remedies, and they got caught up in this religious persecution, like at the time with James I on the throne, and local magistrates were.
So this lady here is just going through the history, but I wanted to have a look at what it's like today. Look at this, the Pendle Inn. So that this is where I wanted to end up the stream with. Either do it in two halves. So the second half, what I might do is research individual witches. Today, I wanted to give you an overview of why they started persecuting witches. Which was to do to James VI, but apparently it was James I of Scotland and James VI of England. I don't know why it says there's both. I'm guessing they're both the same person. I need to research that as well. And I wanted to give some history over the two families, the Chattockses and the Demdikes, and who was hung. I'm going to give you all the names, and then what Pendle looks like today. I think I'm going to do a part 2 where I'm going to research more about the individual witches, because I think we owe them some to look into. Were they Catholic? Were they, like that man just said, that historian, were they Catholic? Were they healers? Were they spiritualists? What were they? And I don't believe they should have been killed. I think it's terrible. But my point I'm making is that in those days, like, why on earth would you know what's going on? I also want to do part 2. We will also go into the Witchfinder General. I think that is a really, really good stream that we can do. Let me know if you have heard of the Witchfinder General. Give me a 1 in the chat if you've heard of him. Give me a 2 if you haven't, or a 3. James first was James VI of Scotland. Yeah, that's what I meant. James. Sorry, I'm getting confused now. Let me know if you've heard of the Witchfinder General. Vicky hasn't, Janet has, Dig Down Deep has, Jane has, Bridget hasn't, Deborah has. We've got a big mixed bag here. Most have, but not all. No, Ray Clay. Jean, no. Remedies still around today. There's a lot of herbal stuff, especially Indian stuff. Like I use the Indian herb ashwagandha. That is an ancient herb. Silent Peach, yes. Gail, yes. Funky, yes. Mad Matt, no. Belinda, yes. Susie Watts, yes. Terry Knowles, yes. It's a big mixed bag. I'd say it's about 60-40 to yes, people have heard of it. Jammy Fandango in the house. Hello, how you doing? Angel, I grow my own comfrey, Nick Byrne, its old name. They made a movie, it was good, says Terry Knowles Band again. Cosmic Water, apparently he died as a result of getting a taste of his own medicine. Stephen Hall says yes. Okay, so there does seem to be a lot of people that know about the Witchfinder General. So part 2 is going to be all about the Witchfinder General, and we're going to be looking deeper into these witches who, you know, getting a bit of history about them. I think it's honouring them to look. They're not just a name. They're not just someone who was hung, you know. They're not just a name. But what I wanted to see as well about this video is like there's an old pub there, the Pendle Inn. I find this really interesting. Let me just hear what he's got to say.
Those connections. So definitely there's a resonance in the local community.
And the tourists just love the story, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. They're fascinated. You know, it's such a great story. We're coming up on a really big anniversary. I mean, obviously 2012 is the Olympics as well, Olympic year. But we've got our own special occasion here. I mean, the 400 years, I mean, that's a tremendous amount of history, and it goes back. What we're trying to do is develop a Pendle Witches Festival, which will go from this year, 2010, into 2011. It'll lead up really to the big celebration, which will be Lancashire-wide.
Andrew Turner and his family run a holiday cottage business from Malkin Tower Farm, a site once thought to have been home to the notorious Demdike family. It is here that the infamous Good Friday gathering was held, where those locals suspected of witchcraft are said to have met to feast on stolen mutton and plan to blow up Lancaster Castle to free their already imprisoned cohorts. Much of the evidence which sent them to the gallows came from this very encounter. Andrew is keen to prove the link once and for all by excavating some newly found ruins. So Andrew, this is a really stunning setting.
It is.
Do you really believe that this was the home of the witches?
I do, yes. I think it was always this side of the hill.
That's interesting, isn't it?
And it's the notorious Demdike and a family who was supposed to have lived here, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. Demdike and a daughter, Squinting Lizzie.
Oh, fantastic.
Hello, Jay, love.
Right. And these ruins that we can see behind us, you actually believe that was Demdike's house, don't you?
I do, yes.
And are you planning to perhaps excavate a little bit more?
We're hoping to actually have them excavated for 2012, which is the 400th year.
This is 2012, 400 years from the 1612. So I wonder whether he did actually excavate it.
So this story is almost 400 years old, and yet it's still having a massive impact on your business today, isn't it?
It does. I mean, we have visitors from all over the world. I mean, today we've actually got people coming in from Australia.
I suppose in some ways then, in this day and age, we've got quite a lot to thank those witches for, haven't we?
We do, yes.
Nod our caps to Demdike.
That's right.
Old Pendle, now stand strong.
Whether you think of them as malevolent people possessed by supernatural powers or innocent victims living in a time obsessed with the punishment of witchcraft, one thing is for certain: they still have the power to lure visitors to this wild and beautiful landscape.
Okay, so that was really interesting. Apparently she's a historian, that lady. So that was pretty interesting. The Malkin Tower was the home of Elizabeth Southerns, also known as the Demdike. So that's what they're saying there, is that they believe that those ruins were the home of the Demdike family. Now, again, as you know, there were two families, hello MG, rival families. Malkin Tower, or the Malkin Tower, or Mocking Tower, was the home of Elizabeth Southerns, also known as the Demdike, and her granddaughter, Alison Device, who we know was the little girl, two of the chief protagonists in the Lancashire witch trials. Perhaps the best known alleged witches coven in English legal history took place in Malkin Tower on April the 10th, Good Friday, 1612. Find that interesting that they chose Good Friday as well. A bit mocking the Christians, maybe. 8 of those attending were subsequently arrested and tried for causing harm. Apparently, they took some they killed some lambs and took some lambs. That's why they're talking about mutton. They feasted on mutton. 7 of whom were found guilty and executed. The house may have been demolished shortly after the trials. The only firm evidence for its location comes from the official account by the clerk of the court, Thomas Potts, who places it somewhere in the forest of Pendle. Archaeological excavations in the area, so that's what that man was just talking about, have failed to discover any confirmed. That's a shame, because what that video I've just shown you was from 2012. So that actually took place. They excavated it and there was no evidence. There was no confirmed remains of the building. Several explanations have been suggested for the origins of the word Malkin. Despite its name, Malkin Tower is likely to have been a simple cottage. So that could well have been it, but they just don't have any evidence. Just down here, it goes on Good Friday, as you know, the 10th of April, 1612. Malkin Tower was the venue for perhaps the best known alleged witches' coven in Eagle history. And that was, like I've just said, it was the 21st of March when Alison had a chance encounter with John Law, the peddler with the pins, as we know, and it was her daughter. Sorry, it was Elizabeth, I think, Device, who was the daughter. He collapsed. She says it was her fault because she cursed him. He should have kept her gob shut, but I think she felt bad. And then that's where the meeting was held. Now, because they met at this tower, allegedly the plot to escape the 4 gallowed women by blowing up Lancaster Castle. So they were going to try and get the other women out, and instead they got caught and they ended up joining them there. Noel heard of the meeting, and after interrogating Alison Device's mentally subnormal brother James, so obviously that's how they've worded it back then, concluded that Malkin Tower had been the scene of a witches' coven and that all who had attended were witches. 8 were subsequently accused of causing harm by witchcraft and committed for trial. 7 at Lancaster Assizes, 1 at York. Like I say, I've been to York prison. It was a prison until the 90s. It's recently not become a prison anymore. But I think we do need to look more into the Witchfinder General, because I'm pretty certain, if I might be wrong, I don't know, but I'm pretty certain that he was actually in York as well. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he had something to do with what's his face? Oh God. Dick Turpin as well. I'm pretty certain that the Witchfinder General had something to do with him, but again, we'll have to do some more research. Maybe we could look into Dick Turpin, because he actually got caught in York, and Most Haunted did a stream on that as well. I'm going to be ending this shortly because I can hear my son and I think he's still awake, so he's playing up for his dad. Another possibility. Okay, so they're talking about locations on here. Okay, so I just want to find some pictures of Pendle today, so just bear with me. So there was a Pendle Inn, wasn't there? I want to have a quick look at that. So witchcraft is still rife now. Wow, look at this pub. I'm going to show this pub. Now, again, this is nothing to do with Nicola Bulley, but it's called the Castle Museum now, Stephen. Witchcraft is apparently in that area. Sorry, that's the wrong one. That's the one I've just showed you. That's that video. Witchcraft is apparently in that area. Now, I've been speaking to people recently, okay, and I can't say too much, but I have first-hand witness testimony of, in the area of Lancashire, St Michael and Inskip and all, Skipship Creek and all that area there, Blackpool and Lancashire up to Pendle, of people practicing pagans wearing animal masks, not skulls, masks, in the forests and the woods. Now, I don't know how true it is. But when I heard it the last couple of days, I was like, wow. So it is still rife today. Witchcraft and paganism is still rife today. I want to do a bit more deep digging. I have just requested to join the Lancashire Witches, what is it? I think it's like the Lancashire Pagan Coven or Witches Coven Facebook group. I've just tried to join it so I can have a little nosy around and see if people are still, you know, into that. I'm not gonna judge. It's what people. I have no judgment against what people do. Anyway, this is the Pendle Hill Inn. Look how cool this looks. This looks well duded, doesn't it? Really scary. Let's see if you can explore the history of it. It's a beautiful area. It's pretty much like the Yorkshire Moors and the North York Moors. Explore. Show us a bit of a history about the pub, will you? Are you going to show us? Right, a stone-built pub first developed in the 1930s. Oh, so it's not that old then. I thought it might have been old. 1930s, right, okay. So it's at the foot of the Pendle Hill. They have accommodation. This could be somewhere to maybe stay. Right, okay. The town of Barley and the owner of Pendle Hill is rich in history, dating back to the 13th century. Right, okay. So I just wanted to have a quick gander and see if there's any of the original buildings there. Like they've just said that they think that the house of the Demidykes sounds like that. What's it out of Stranger Things, doesn't it? Demigorgons, whatever they're called. Was so just bear with me, trying to find some photos of what is actually like in Pendle today. Apparently there are statues dotted everywhere. I've also seen a video where somebody is walking through the forest and are just literally finding random stones and all sorts. Sorry, I'm going to take that one off and put a different one up. Just give me a sec. So as you know, I've not been well. So my research had to be done quite quickly because I've been doing it today. Stephen Thomas, Demigorgon, love that. What do you call an Indian highwayman? I have no idea. Penny, you would love Salem. Oh, I would, Ali Cat. I really would love. Have you been, sweetheart? Have you been, Jane, love? Hello, Brian Griffin. Good to see you. The Wicker Man. Stay out, Penny. Stay away, Pen. What's this about? It is not satanic. What, I've missed something. I love it when you call it Shit Creek, says Susie. Yeah, I've never been to Pendle, says Stephen. I'm just reading the chat. I hate being called a witch. I am a spiritualist medium. It's a recognised religion. We suffer so much discrimination. I lot live in fear still. Yeah, it's not good, is it? Demigod, a man greatly respect. A demigod is like half god, half human. I haven't been to Salem, says Jane. I would love to go. Yeah, me too. Right, anyway, so I've just found this. I find this interesting. Exploring Folklore. This is a website. I'm going to pop the link in. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go away, do some more research. They did, yeah, we've been watching clips of it. I managed to find, Stefan, some of the old clips from Most Haunted live stream back in, I think it was 2000. And I always remember where I was working at the time to work out the years of when things happened. So I think I was working this place. I remember watching it and I was working there in 2006. So it was definitely either 2005 or 2006 because I remember where I was working at the time. Right then, look at this. Aiming to unearth a former haunt of the Pendle Witches, uncovering the history of the Neolithic and Bronze Age tombs and exploring ritual landscapes are all fascinating projects pursued by Mike Woods, an archaeologist and geophysicist currently in the third year of an archaeology PhD at Manchester University. So this, look at this here. He's sitting below within a Neolithic dolmen at Llandudno. Oh my God, I love Llandudno. That's another North Wales So he's talking about Pendle Hill. Now, what I'm going to be doing is, like I say, I'm going to do another live stream and I'm going to look into the history of Alice Nutter, who is apparently the most famous of the Pendle witches, and also the little girl who testified against her own family members, a brother and mum and a nan. She apparently went on to be tried herself. So I want to do a bit more deep diving. I like doing my deep research, and also the Witchfinder General. So I will be doing a part 2. But I find this really interesting. So this guy here, what's this? Your research has significantly helped inform excavation on what is possible site of Malkin Tower. So remember that guy we just seen on that video about 20 minutes ago, and he said he thought he'd found where the Demidike's house was. Well, this guy thinks he's found the site of Malkin Tower, where the Pendle Witches' Coven famously gathered on Good Friday, 1612. Is this a different site then to the reported discovery of Malkin Tower 10 years ago? Can you tell us a bit more? So this is quite an interesting site. I've put the link into it. I'm going to check this out myself, actually. I'm not going to read it all now, but it looks like it says here that he might have found it. So he's interesting. Future projects. Interesting. Okay. So his most recent, May 2023. Underbelly announces his Manchester debut, Hidden Underbelly. Do you know what? He could have probably helped out with tonight as well, because he's into all this shit, isn't he? Yeah, I think, Jane, what we'll do, darling, I'll get you on my Salem Witches night, because that'll be better because you're an American. And then, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, Jackie. Penny Morden is a druid witch. She looked cool though, didn't she? She looked cool. You can't lie, but yeah. Right, I'm gonna have to get off, guys. I've got to. Yeah, Jane, that you'll probably be better at. You're an American, so you probably know more than me. Do you learn about it in school? They don't tell you. The only way is yes soon. What does that mean? Second coming is very near, says the only way is crazy. I try and be impartial. So, like when people say, what do you think? Are you a Christian? Are you not a Christian? Hello, Guardian again. Are you this? I try and stay. Have you, Ali Cat? So maybe you could, not in school, no, says Jane. What we'll probably do at some point is maybe get people up who have done Wiccan, who are spiritualist or mediums. Maybe we could get some people up to talk about it. I literally live on the road next to that field, says Stefan. Wow. So, like I said before, I had to cram as much in as I could today. Because obviously I've not been very well. So I've got as much in as I could. Would love one on aliens. Next week I'll be doing part 2. Like I say, we'll go deeper into the witch's background. And I also want to look at the Witchfinder General. So it's going to be more of a history stream. Hello, Blackjack. Tomorrow night is our paranormal call-in show. Women also as hysterical even sister. Yeah, very true. North Country Girl. So tomorrow night we're going to be having a call-in show. So normally on a Friday we do. I'm still not right, but getting there. Thank you, free speech, darling. Okay, sweetheart. We watch a bit of Derek, Creed Kiefer. Thank you to anybody who's donated as well to help me out with the bunnies and the StreamYard. I appreciate all the help that people give. I did put a little short out today. I don't think we're going to be able to do it, Angel. I can do another Freemasonry stream and bring it up in that. But if I just do Bohemian Grove, we will be taken down. Hence why Alex Jones is no longer allowed to be on any social media. My spirit guide is Enki. I've seen him speak with him. He guides me. Ray Clay says thank you. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, guys. We do go down rabbit holes. I want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, though. I think people enjoyed my Freemasonry stream, and I think what we'll do a Freemasonry stream, a part 2. We'll go deeper in that as well. I did a brief overview of the different types of Freemasonry in that one. I think we'll do a deeper dive on Freemasonry, and then we can cover more of Bohemian Grove within that. But I do want to get this second half done on this one. I'm still not right. My ears popping. I'm better than I was, though. But thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for hitting the like or the dislike. If you don't like what we do, thank you to anyone who has helped out, anyone that's donated. I appreciate you. And has anyone got any questions or anything or comments at the end before I go? Just let me know. Remember to hit the like button. Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. Brian Griffin, how are you, by the way? Have you heard about Family Guy? It's ending. I'm really upset. Like, without Seth MacFarlane, they cannot continue. But hopefully he'll come back. Hopefully. So that's the link if you want to help out. Teresa, love it, Penny. Can't wait for the next one. Great stream. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Mad Matt. Thank you, everybody, for supporting me. So tomorrow night, please, guys, Penny, do you think Jason has any credibility? I think he's a plant. I really do. I don't believe he's had any credibility. I have had some research that says that I'm still waiting for Second Fund to pay me royalties for using my name. Next stream, Belinda, I'll sort it out. I've come out of that page now, darling. 8 more likes for 100, says Funky. Good night, Stephen. I've been given information that Jason Rothwell is good friends with the family. Now, I just want to add as well, there's a lot of rumours going around. I have got a video coming out tomorrow on debunking one of the rumours, because the thing is, people are just making stuff up now. And what people don't realise as well is how much I've debunked. Like, I don't want to start going into it all, but I debunked a lot. I debunked the door being kicked in. I debunked Derek Clayton being a retired aerospace engineer. I debunked that. People were still running with that. People are still running with that. It was lies. He worked for DPD. He wasn't. He was never. No, we didn't. But I think it was. I think it was one of them monks or whatever they're called. And like, Trisha, is it you that's just messaged me on Facebook? A different one. Yeah, so anyway, I'm still not right, but I'm getting there. Tomorrow night, please call in, guys. If you've seen a ghost, a UFO, anything spooky, do ring in. Please ring in and give us your stories. It's going to be fun. It'll be a fun night. No drama, as usual. Trolls won't be allowed up. No porn bombing. We don't want to see your winky flying around. Anyway, there we go. Good night. The night, Stephen. The night, Susan. The night, Dig Down Deep. Anyways, crazy. Ali Cat Band again. Terry Knowles, Tomo, Trisha, Rocket Roy, Rebecca, Vicky, Angel, beautiful Jane, Ellen, everybody who's joined us tonight. Rebecca, Vicky, Gail, English Buttercup, Sprink, Stephen Hall, Funky, Brian Griffin. Anyways, crazy, safe and sweet. Shelley, Sprinks, Teresa, everybody, Ellen, thank you so much, Candice, who have been joining me tonight. Peaky Blinders, Terry Knowles Band again, Blackjack, Free Speech, Ray Clay, Punch the Narrative. Thank you so much for joining me. I've really, really enjoyed this. Good night, Mama Bear, love. Good night, sweetheart. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.